Welcome back, everybody. Amorous Mudpuddle, thank you for following. Before you, the Dark Tower. Morkir's Lair.
Still flipping it off.
Go ahead. say what you want to say.
Quick question: how far away is it? Sorry, Foxshay.
No, you're fine.
You're looking. It's a good ways away. I don't have a accurate measure. It's far enough that it's just the silhouette of a tower overlooking the horizon.
Does this tower look like just a giant crystalline structure? Does it look like architecture that one could enter?
It looks like architecture that one could enter, yes. It doesn't look like it's made of that crystalline glass material. There are elements of it that have those accents to it, but it's the structure itself seems to be rather sturdy for as tall as it is.
Are there enemies about, scouts,
perception.
or places where one could, snipe us?
I will roll as well.
They have snipers in the church tower, yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
25.
Who else was rolling?
22.
I also got a 22.
Talon, easy enough for you to hear as you guys make your way closer into the outskirts of Marndell. And easy enough for the others to see. There are lots of different masses of individuals marching through the streets. Some seeming to pick apart what's left of the destruction of the city. Hard to make out any discernible figures, but you do see lots of shapes, lots of figures moving out through the streets. It's populated.
Yeah.
With whom and what? You were yet to tell.
From
If
where
y'all
would...
would go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you all would like,
She just leaves. Allie just gets mad and leaves. Go ahead, it's fine. It's fine. She's done with you. Fair.
Great timing.
Okay.
So good.
Anyway, back into it. Go ahead.
anyway, yes. If you all would like, I can scout in a way that does not require me to actually go in the city. I've spent a little bit more time with the energies, the spirits in these tattoos. I think I could probably call one and see through its eyes, if you all would like.
Before we do that, let's see if we can find a vantage point. Get a clear look at where we need to go. And then we can go from there. Do we have a good vantage point?
From where you already have a decent vantage point. If you wanted to go off further to the left and round up a few more cliff faces, cliff flats, you would be able to get up there and maybe see maybe a different angle, a little bit higher, a little bit closer. But you already have a pretty decent vantage point from where you are. If you want to try to glean even a little bit more to formulate your plan, you may do so. From there.
Yeah, I'm gonna Liliana will go to that cliffside to get a closer and higher vantage point, while everybody else is debating on what to do. And I'll come back with my findings.
Okay, roll your perception. That's a with advantage since you took the time to choose a vantage point. An advantage point. You're muted.
There's no way.
Oh.
I got a 19 and a 17, so I'll take the 19 plus 4, which will be 23 on perception.
Okay. Alrighty. Looking ahead, is there anything specifically that you're trying to glean? And
Yes,
can
I
let
want
you know
to
if there's
find
anything that you can have from that.
2 things. Primarily, an entrance. Secondly, a way that seems to be less traveled that we can take to that doorway. So what would have been old alleyways that's less traveled, seeing this traffic, a road less traveled. So entrance and a road less traveled to that entrance.
It seems that the road less traveled, to use air quotes, is not any kind of straight path. It would be darting between alleys and making your way discreetly up to the doorstep, so to speak, of the tower. The tower, as you get from this vantage point, stands tall among the city, and almost symbolically, the peak of the tower itself with a circular shape that protrudes beyond the shaft of the tower itself. Atop it has almost a crown-like structure. This crown, so to speak, of this tower, however symbolic that may be, centered within it is this mass orb. Just pure black darkness. Almost feels like it pulls you into it, as if the draw of it is that powerful, and yet you know what it sends out. Whatever message is emanated from it to grow the blight within those obelisks. Looking through the streets, you see figures passing by here and there. No easy way in. Darting left and right and ahead and between alleys and between the destroyed buildings, whatever's left of the destruction of these. Among some of them with the roofs of these buildings that have fallen in or been hacked away at the side. You see figures even within those buildings that are lumbering around. You catch sight of different figures. Gleaning a little bit closer, you can see some appear to be familiar soldiers that you have seen, the Parthens, and others seem to be ragtag undead soldiers. And a few other shapes, grotesque in nature, that you are familiar with out in the woods of a particular campsite, shamble around through the streets. Only a few of them here and there. But it is littered with these foes.
I will go back with my scouting reports, and unless somebody can get us there and drop us off at the front door, we're gonna have some extreme difficulty getting through without being seen.
I can help
And
us stay hidden.
Liliana will describe everything that you described about the alleyways, the paths, the Parthens, everything. for what she's seen, and we can deduce a plan from that.
In a pinch, I can be quite loud. So, I can draw the numbers away so that you all could get to the tower and I could meet you there.
I could bulldoze through as a distraction.
I think it would be best if we try to proceed, expending as little energy as possible and staying close. Foxjay, your skill set is invaluable for this.
Candy
I'd rather you stay
distribution.
close.
There's enough fucking darkness as it is. And I hate to shed any more on this. Farron, you're right. We've got to preserve every last bit of us that we can. The last thing we need to do is show up at his front door just for him to fucking laugh at us. It's a grandmaster fucking wizard. We're talking a cunt who can take down armies. We're special. We are. You all are. A bunch of special cunts. The odds that all of us may get out of this are slim. To speak your fucking piece if you're sentimental cunts like that. But we need to understand. This will be the fight of our lives.
What if we just walked in? Lily, you have that mask. You can pretend to be one of his disciples, and you're bringing in those that are resistant to the convergence or whatever, and what if we just walk in the front door? Do you think that would work?
Look to Lewin.
We're fucking prisoners then.
Do you still have your shackles?
I'm not fucking putting them on, but yeah.
I'm not going back in a box, am I?
Oh no.
Don't have a box, sorry.
Okay, good.
Well, I do have to make it seem like I am holding you against your will.
You guys got a muzzle?
No, but I got some rope. Tie your wrists. Get you guys in a chain. And by a chain, I mean a line. It's worth a try.
It seems riskier than even just trying to sneak our way in. If that's what you all want to do, I suppose I'll go with it, but
Maybe try to let's combine all of this. You do what you do best, Baron, and I will. Maybe we won't have to catch an eye. Maybe it's so common.
What if we split? Half of us try to sneak, and the other half go in. Would you really have this many prisoners walking in at once anyway?
Not without guards.
Well, let's think of a good fucking alibi. What were they doing with all of us? They took us to the capital because Morokir was at the fucking capital, right? And we were special. Well, you all were. I'm just a cunt that assembled you, right? But if they was taking you there, and he thinks that you are one of his fucking disciples, that's a good little fucking disciple. Brought all those people from the capital all the way over here for him to do with what he needs. But then we have the question, are we willing to give up all that we have? All of our armor, all the fucking things a prisoner wouldn't have. That's a risky part too. If we're playing the bluff, we play the full fucking bluff. And then we have to deal with those consequences.
I'm inclined to agree with Lewin. This is Morokir, Grand Master Wizard, and incredibly intelligent. I don't think he's going to be fooled by a simple mask. And all the
Good
assumptions that
fucking
go
point.
along with it. I mean, I don't know all the people down there, if they're controlled by him, if they're just survivors, looters, anything. I think we have a better chance sneaking and going from there, but staying together. That I agree on.
You're losing the vision of what we're trying to achieve. It is not Morg here that we need to fool. We just need to get to him. We need to fool those that are guarding him.
We thought we were fooling his disciple cunt. She had that little staff with a fucking eyeball. Do you think he doesn't have something like that? He probably already knows we're fucking coming. He probably already knows we're right on his fucking doorstep.
Yeah.
But do his cronies?
If he
Are they
told
all
them
his
they do.
cronies?
Right.
I think trying to sneak in is our best shot. There are some among us that would probably do fine without armor, but to give up our weapons, even if it did get us in the front door, not having them ready, accessible to fight as soon as we get there, I just think it's too big of a risk.
Yeah, might as well give him my fucking heads.
All right.
You're right.
But it seems like, Lily, you found a pretty decent path. I can lend some shadows to us walking, and if the fates are on our side, then we'll get there. And if not, well, we have dealt with our share of misfortune already and done all right with it, so I think we can come up with something on the fly.
Hey, Catchy Cantrips, thank you for the raid, everybody that just came from there. We are outside the doorstep of the Bebeg right now. And they're trying to
We're
find
at
their
the
way
gates
to-
of Mordor.
The gates of Mordor. Literally. At this point. Thank you for that raid. Lewin chimes in.
I'll lead the way.
We need some kind of contingency plan. If we get caught, what we doing? We booking for the door?
I think so.
I can deal with a lot at any given time.
I can crush a few skulls.
I've proven my worth.
We get caught,
Group.
we run for it. As fast as we can.
We run, we group them up, we deal with them, we get in the door.
Okay.
Improvisation.
Liliana, if you're leading us, that mask isn't going to be enough. I'll pull out the staff. Gonna need something to prove who you are, or who you're trying to imitate.
I'll take it if it's needed. And she'll take it with no hesitation. Thank you. We ready?
Everyone stand close before we go.
Put down the mask again.
And I will reach up. The tattoos on my arms, now you can see all of them start to glow as I cast Pass Without Trace, drawing some shadow into my hand and then spreading it over all of us, silencing our footsteps and allowing us to be extra sneaky beaky, getting a +10 bonus to our stealth checks. And we
Extra
cannot be
sneaky
tracked
beaky.
except by magical means.
Absolutely. And with that, adding another layer of darkness to this already dark city. Up
Ooh,
towards
can I make
this
it even darker?
dark tower and making it even darker. Go ahead.
second level darkness. If it's already dark around here, let's just put darkness all around us, right? Wait, we can't all see through it, can we? No. Always forget that little notion. I feel like the friends should be able to see through it. That's okay. Never mind.
Theron, how
60 feet of dark vision.
How far away can I get from you? For scouting purposes.
Let's see. Trace. 30 feet.
DM, as we go in, I think Liliana will try to, be the good rogue that she is, and she's going to, with her hood up, so she'll have advantage in stealth and whatnot. Really getting a look around the corners, getting that good feel for people coming through, passing by, listening, all that good stuff. Trying to get us through those alleyways as quick as possible. And it's seamless. With that 10 to 15 foot gap between us.
Perfect. Making your way down from your vantage points. You make your way into the city itself. Now into the city, you can hear and feel the presence of all those that move around. Kind of keeping you on edge, keeping you kind of jumpy, not knowing if you've just been spotted. I need everybody to roll me stealth checks.
There's a
20 on
plus
the die. So 30.
Is that all?
37.
Is that all?
Hey!
Yeah. Lightweight.
32.
26.
You're muted, as you tried to tell me.
Also 26.
26,
I also have a
26.
+4 in stealth, so 34.
20.
20. Pretty fucking low there, Fox J. Way to fucking ruin it for
With
the
I was just hoping not for a natural one. I'm happy with anything else. I have disadvantage, so
I know.
If you actually have advantage, you just roll it straight.
but it was just pass without a trace, which is +10, but it's still disadvantage.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a +10, yeah. There's no advantage here, just the +10. And with your sweet, sweet little +10 for each of you. It was a big city. Once again, you see the past signs of life and bustling, what remains of the paint of some of the colored shutters and fabrics. Interestingly enough, this blight seems to have affected all materials. Those strung out cloths and canopies and coverings and awnings of the street provide some kind of shadowy overcast for whatever light there is emanating from the sky, blocked out by the dark clouds. But these fabrics, even themselves, what remains of the dye has been almost snuffed out into the palette of black and white. Little glimpses of hope on the wood stain of the shutters, where you can see maybe it was once a teal or a light blue, and some of them maybe even a pink. Also snuffed out by the blight and the darkness that has long devoured this land. Making your way into a larger intersection, realizing you now have to cross a big street to get to the next one on your way to the tower. What would you like to do for that?
Take a good look left and right. to see if there's any movement on either side, big group, small group, and wait for them to pass. What's the distance between where we're at to the other side? Is it 30 feet?
It would be about a 30-foot cross.
Okay. Yeah, I really want to take a good look on either side and I'll go last when we go.
Roll perception.
Oh, I'm not. So weird. That is a 17 for perception.
17 for perception, glancing to the left and glancing to the right, just trying to slightly peek your head out from this alley. On the left, after just glancing for a moment, figures run past. Some of them just camber slowly. One on the right, as you look that direction, waiting to see if you see any other figures. You see one very quickly, almost as if on all fours, a kind of smaller figure, and it kind of crawls and just kind of quickly it crawls quickly across the street.
Okay.
And you see a large figure from where this one just crawled over into emerge from where that one came from, and you see that small figure being held by the throat almost of this large creature, the creature kind of familiar to you, what you had seen maybe in a particular camp, and it seems to like hold it up and kind of you see the creature that was crawling seemed to kind of like writhing and wiggling, seems to be humanoid, but through the fog and darkness you can't exactly make out a whole lot of features, but it almost has kind of like a it's childlike in form, but very not childlike in movement. It's very there's ages of fiendishness in that movement.
Creepy. That is creepy. Okay.
But he seems to like and this creature kind of claws at his hand, and then eventually this large hulking figure tosses it, and you see it scurries up against the wall and then immediately climbs right up the roof that it was thrown against that wall. Seeing that, it causes you to think, haven't been looking up. And so you kind of look up straight ahead from where you're about to cross, looking on the rooftops. The fog kind of hangs kind of dense there. You see that same kind of familiar movement. Just once, for a moment, something scurry across that roof, across from the set of buildings that you guys are at. Whether it was lurking, skulking, hunting, hard to tell, but it seems to be skulking somewhere, off to somewhere.
Right. I'm gonna turn to the party and kind of get them together. If we're gonna move across the street, we gotta do it fast. We got enemies to our left and we got enemies to our right. I think I can potentially distract the ones on the left. The one on the right may not be able to see us from where we're at.
Distractions means attention, and we don't want no attention. We don't want no high alert.
Speaking of high, we need to keep our eyes to the roofs.
If you want to watch the ground, I'll watch up towards the roof and the skies. Between the two of us, we should be able to keep our eyes on things.
One at a time, two at a time. If we do, gotta be fast. We gotta stay close to Farron to get that. To keep her magic.
What are we waiting for?
As you speak of this, and as you say that, Talon, as you say, what are we waiting for? With your passive just hearing, and after hearing about potential enemies or threats up above, you hear just this slight scraping, as if some kind of pebble sliding down a rock, or a slated roof, and a little pebble falls into the alley where you guys linger.
Akshay.
And then you hear, for just a moment, it's almost like a purring, but as if made from a guttural humanoid throat.
Can I see where it is?
Roll a perception check.
$21.
As you witness first Talon perking up his ears as if he's hearing something, in a quick glance, as you also hear that glancing up for just a moment, you see silhouetted over the gutters of this roof alleyway a small shape. And it takes a moment to focus, and just before you can completely focus and make any kind of details out, even with your dark vision, somewhat of a reflection of light, as if animals that have that kind of glowy look to their eyes in the night. And it kind of almost as if a lens switching kind of switches out, and it slinks back away, feeling like it has been spotted.
Okay. Foxy, you go first. Key, go with him.
To keep Fox J covered, I'll go with them.
Just more of a marching order. It's like Foxjay, Key, and then anybody else who wants to follow can go.
DM, I'm just going to be prepared to use thaumaturgy to make a sound 30 feet away. So if I'm closer on this side, then it'll be behind us. If I'm going that way, it's going to be over to the side.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a sound that we've already heard, so that's natural there, but might spook, since they're kind of predators of each other, one that would be a little bit more menacing, just to get like temporary attention off of us to complete the intersection. Just in case.
Sure.
Then I go.
Roll me your stealth checks as you cross the street.
And don't forget +10.
I know.
Don't forget your plus 10.
Guidance. Oh. Oh no. $16. It was a natural. It's a natural 2.
Everybody. This is everybody that's crossing the street right now.
34.
Anybody lower than 16? Anybody lower than 20? Anybody else lower than 20?
27.
27. You make your way across, feeling veiled enough by the darkness Talon, it irks you the way the armor clanks. It brings you back to your time in the military. That burdensome armor that you somewhat blame as that downfall of that moment in that cave. Foxjay wears it now. And the thought keeps poking into your mind, not again. Not the fucking armor. And with a clink, 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 making your way across. The urge to not look as if that will help. To not look in either direction as if that will help to not be seen. One by one, you make your way across. Unaware if anybody has gained attention towards you. But you're at least find comfort in the fact that nobody shouted, "Hey, over there." You make your way across and into this next alley. As you make your way into that alley, with a sigh, there's a door in front of you that's kicked open. Somebody comes out. Big galumphing boots. A larger figure, not like that. Not like the behemoths that you had run into in the camp, but a large hulking figure in its own sort with these kind of decayed leather boots. The decay even affecting the equipment of the individuals in this land. A battle axe pokes through after the door is kicked in. This figure steps out. You see even more of the decayed leather armors that it's wrapped in. Seems to be some kind of thug in its past life. You see some of the decay of the flesh that has overcome this individual. You, directly to his right, tilts his head, chin first, slightly in your direction, and then whips it around to the left. And with disjointed for a moment, its knee cracks a little bit and it straightens it out, almost kicks it out. Some semblance of personality there, like, this bad knee, being undead's hard. It marches along left. Shambles through this alley. Up ahead of you, as it marches across, has to step over and aside this broken wagon. It starts to lean down and move some of this debris out of the way, and you see from the rooftop a figure scurry very quickly. Very small, lanky figure. Right above this larger figure, you see as it reaches down from the roof, as this figure stands up, the larger one. You see as this slinking figure with these longer fingers and fingernails just carefully, gracefully plucks something from around the neck of this larger figure, and you see it's almost like hanging there, just a little amulet, a trinket, and it scurries away. And the figure as if it felt a tickle on its spine. It turns, glaring towards the party. Takes a step forward. You see a sheen in its own eyes against the moonlight. And a switch as if it's also changing the lens on its eyes to see or something. Like turning on dark vision, so to say. Takes another step forward.
Can I turn action?
You may, yes.
Cool.
And then turns back around with a twist of its own neck and the crunching of its bones and marches back away. On further down the alley, it couldn't see with that darkness that magically conceals you currently. What's your next step? Next moves?
Mentally recalling the way, like almost like a picture memory. Okay, we went left, we went right, we went across the way, we went right. Okay, and then recalling where to go now to the door. Just taking
You make
them.
your way on further. Coming across several more streets. In that similar fashion, figures moving past. Roll me a stealth check. We'll just do a larger blanket one for this.
One, two,
35.
29.
29.
40. I got a natural 20.
Nice. Fox shit.
14?
Making your way across these streets. One success. The next, going through a separate alley, crossed another street. Figures marching past. Another success. Further a few more streets, seeming like you've not caught any attention, not of the soldiers or the undead that lurk. Make your way through a few more streets. Closer to the tower, the dread that it looms over this place is thick, dense. But yet, you push on forward towards it regardless. As you dart into another alley, the smaller alleys feeling more comforting despite any sense of claustrophobia, but stronger sense of concealment. Not crossing those larger streets where your lines of sight are unbroken. Dart into another alley, and shortly after, behind you, a figure shambles past one of the abominations, offering some kind of light within the bone that protrudes from it, that crystalline purple and green. Roll me a... Roll me a perception check. Hold on, let me see. Give me a second. I gotta decide who first. I think that might be it. I apologize. I just... Roll me a perception check, Fox J.
$21.
21. You get this strange sensation. Looking around and everybody kind of sighing relief as that abomination walks by. This strange sensation as if you just walked into a spider web and it has wrapped itself around the back of your neck. But you're not moving. Would you like to do anything about that?
It feels like the sensation of a spider web that wrapped around my neck, but it is not an actual
You know, like
spider.
when you get that like spider web, you're like, you get it in your hair kind of thing. Yeah, you get that just like this slightest, like for a quick moment, as if like a spider web, you just walked into it, but you're not moving, like I said, so.
Okay. I would like to do the thaumaturgy thing back. Actually, maybe not back where we came from. Maybe something parallel to us would make a little bit more sense. I don't really know the kind of mock-up of who we are, but maybe if the houses are kind of parallel, maybe if there's like a shutter I could fly open or something like that. Or, like I said, just a familiar sound for this area, but we're there.
What is the sound you're trying to make?
Actually, no, because what I'm thinking, if it's like into a trap, that would make sense that sound would happen here, which would not raise an alarm, which would get the attention off of us. So I would need to make something that is foreign to this place. So I will all eyes on me. I will make a sound of Elvish being spoken in like hushed tone 30 feet away from us in another building, not the direction that we're...
You use the components to do such spell. You hear no change or feel no more sensation of anything that might have your attention at this moment.
Okay. I don't know how far everybody is away from me, but I will... Oh, go ahead.
Pardon my memory. What did you do with your rings?
They're still on my horn. I'll put it back on my horn.
Others with passive perception, as you see, Fox J
Don't you
draw
dare.
some attention to himself. You know that one of the rings is missing from his horns. And in a quick kind of spurt and jump from the roof, you hear, and a little figure jumps from roof to roof in the alley.
And I don't notice this, but the others do?
You do now notice that once it does that the sound that it makes, it jumps across and hurries over to the other roof. What you felt, now you realize, was that's maybe even the breath of this creature lurking down to grab something off of you.
with that sound and my passive perception, which is 16, I think, would that be enough to release my held action?
By this point, enough time has passed and enough other things have happened that held action would no longer have been held. And yeah, there was probably no opportunity for this opportunity of attack. With all of your attention kind of diverted on that larger behemoth walking across, it picked the opportune time to do a bit of a sleight of hand.
Can he just chase it? Like, how far up is it? Like, how tall are the roofs?
It went up on top of the roofs.
I'm going to, and I noticed that it took my ring is gone. I noticed it, so I know that this thing took the ring, or I just noticed it going.
You may
away.
not even realize that your ring is missing at this point. You just know that something. Maybe if you felt your horns after realizing, oh, that thing was just hanging above me. You can check.
I don't think I would.
But,
I don't think I would check. I think
or
that'd be
others would
just a
maybe
better
tell
decision.
you. Maybe others would tell you. Yeah.
I'll let them decide that.
Jay.
Yes.
And I point.
Hey, Fridge, didn't you have 2 of those?
Grab. There's one. I will well up with tears. My pupils will get really big. I will grab Avelina's hand very suddenly. And after like a good beat, say, always with me.
Always.
Okay. Stay quiet. It's just a ring.
He's gonna put a hand on Foxjay's shoulder and just bolt. If I see that thing again, I'll kill it for you.
Making your way forward, closer to the tower, as if spirits weren't dampened enough. Make your way across another street with a kind of a sense of urgency and frustration for all of this hellish place. As you make your way into the next smaller alley, the frustration of seeing this lanky little figure jump across back from the right to the left of this other alley right up ahead of you before you even get to it, and it jumps across and crawls across the roof. At this point, you realize that at least this creature or these creatures, this particular of these creatures, has kind of trained in on you guys a little bit.
Without saying a word, I am going to draw one of my arrows and I am going to hold it up meaningfully to the party.
Unless you can kill it in one shot, we shouldn't try.
You guys make your way into the alley. You can still continue if you like. It's up to you. You guys make your way into that alley. Lewin kind of chimes in.
Well, from what she said, it's hard to tell if they're all that friendly. Seems like these might be a pest for our other combatants as well. If the scouts, they would have ratted us out by now. I think they're just rats.
DM question. Looking at this creature, does it look like it is particularly conspicuous, or does it look like something that I might be able to just gank the way that one would a bird in the sky?
Yeah. It seems like it, I mean, it doesn't seem very, it uses stealth to its advantage for a reason. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and knock an arrow, and the next time that the creature hops over us, I would like to try to take a shot at it.
Sure.
Gonna put a hand on your shoulder. Little surge of electricity goes through the bowstring. Enjoy your D4.
Says Fox J in game. Enjoy your D4. Actually.
Fox D4.
You go.
It's like a chandelier.
You make your way through another set of winding streets and alleys as Liliana leads you towards the tower. No glimpses of the creature for an alley or two. And then ahead of you, in the next alley, crossing a larger street, you see, peering from the alley, Farron, you notice at first having the desire and gall to look for such a creature skulking around. Its eyes switch that shiny vision, peers from behind a set of crates and barrels, very obviously stalking its prey. Little does it know its prey is a hunter. As you guys make your way across that street towards that next alley, it slinks back behind these crates and barrels, and just in front of you, you see it climb up the side of that wall and then reach out to grab up onto the gutter of it and pull itself up. But before it can fully roll your attack, if you would like, for such a held action.
Does a 28 hit?
28 certainly hits. With that, as you guys kind of quietly march across, you see as Farron just looses the knocked arrow, and this figure starts to climb up, and then the arrow hits it somewhere, and you hear it crash into that alley, and you guys pick up pace a little bit, and you hear squirming behind this set of barrels and crates.
Would you like the damage for that?
Go ahead, yes.
Okay, so I would like to use the favored foe feature to get an extra d6, and
Sure.
Would this count for my dread ambusher feature?
What is the classifications for that?
Usually it's the first turn of each combat. We aren't technically in combat, though.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first combat action made for it, so.
Alright. Beep, beep. That would be 22. points of piercing damage.
It wiggles and writhes beneath this crate, and it almost like pats at its arm. And as you round that corner, another arrow ready to loose and finish off this creature. It wiggles there, and you see the arrow actually went through some of the sinewy muscle of its arm and pinned its own left arm, or its own right arm, technically, to its own chest cavity a little bit, and that arrow pokes out through it a little bit, and it... You see, as you get closer and now less veiled and getting a closer look at the face of this creature, it's almost as if it were a child to some aspect, but as if the skin of the lips were removed and these teeth are sharp and pointy, and as if there's 2 layers of it. It's almost tried to form a new layer of lips without the lip tissue to kind of cover over those sharp teeth, but you see areas where the teeth have poked through some levels of it, and some of the ears kind of clipped off. It's hard to tell if it was what kind of ears it ever even had, and it has kind of a scratch and a scar across its face, and these eyes that now rapidly switch as if in panic and terror of you, switch between this like night vision look and this normal eyeball, as normal as it can be for the coloration of the eye itself is all but white and kind of pale. It looks at you.
Does it seem like there's any sentience in this creature?
There's a certain degree of humanoid fear that you can see for sure.
No language, though, at least not expressed.
It's not saying anything at this moment.
I cast Speak with Animals. Would it talk?
If you cast it, you said?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be an animal. It seems to be some form of humanoid to some capacity. When its eyes switch to the more air quote humanoid version, it seems like a more far gone a semblance of Evelina's eyes in a way, but of a further realized and gone form of it.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm just gonna go for the kill on it,
Okay.
and aim another arrow. Try to go for
As
its heart.
you draw back your bow, it holds out a little shiny ring, as if like an offering, and like, please.
Can I get a vibe check on do I feel like if we accept the token and leave that it's gonna leave us alone?
It seems desperate. So roll an insight check. Actually, without even rolling an insight check, it seems desperate. It does not want to die. For whatever semblance of a squalor life it has. This creepy crawly little creature.
I'm gonna look at Fox J.
I will walk up behind Farron, put my hand on your shoulder, kind of gesturing the bow down. I will kneel down kind of cradle this thing's face in my hand. Look into the Avelina-esque eyes. And as a word of radiance, say, I'm sorry.
It's yours.
And he takes 1d6 radiant damage.
It burns where you touch it for a moment. And from its eyes, whatever life remains in it, for a moment of a look of fear, then sadness, almost regret. And then whatever semblance of life remained within it is all gone from it.
I'll look at Farron. Farron, this is on me. It's not you. I did this. You're okay.
Seems a mercy to put a creature like that out of its misery anyway.
Well, he had Ocean's Ring, I think. Just by proximity, he deserves some mercy. Let's get back to the others. I'll take the ring and the amulet.
Okay. Yep, it had that as well, yeah. It's the same one.
Anything special about it? Anything magical? Anything?
From what you can discern right away, it just seems like it was just a shiny.
Is it inscribed or anything?
No, actually, looking at it, it's a locket, but not like a heart-shaped locket. But when you open it up, it is this little folded piece of paper.
Okay, I will look at that paper.
Right now? Okay.
Right now?
Opening up this piece of paper, you see a very crudely drawn group of stick figures. One of them, very large, says, Daddy. You see another figure that's like holding a smaller stick figure, and then a little one next to that. That little one has me over top of it, over the littlest one being held by the presumably mother figure. It says Bubba, and then over the other one holding that one, it says Mommy. Which you can kind of glean was that big figure was probably Daddy.
Okay.
At one point
I'll put the
or
paper
another.
back in the locket. Put it in my pocket. And meet back up with the others.
Okay. You guys make your way through
Emotion?
make your way through the emotional streets of this city. Holy shit. Yeah, okay, so
What in the Bloodborne is this? Like, Jesus Christ.
Feeling you've made as little impression on this already super scarred city as you can, leaving no trace. How long does your shroud last? Do you cast without a trace? Or pass without a trace?
It should be 1 hour.
1 hour. It has taken a good while. It was a big city to get across, but just on the last minutes of your pass without a trace, before you, something that wasn't there in Marndal before, a moat of black tepid water that surrounds the tower, but now the tower stands far above you. At this point, nearly at its doorstep, this dreadful sensation that nobody guards this tower out front the gate and across this bridge, the massive Gothic doors to let you in. It is before you. Either side, left or right, looking for any sign of a guard presence, a sign of any kind of structure to protect himself in his arrogance. The door is yours to enter and proceed in the next episode of Legends of Aelos into the Dark Tower of Grandmaster Wizard Morakir.
This is fine.
Your mom's a bitch.
This is fine.
No, it is not fine. It is not fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything's on fire.
Last episode of Legends of Aelos Xeyhath. Yeah.
Season finale.
A finale for sure tomorrow as you enter the lair of Morakir.
No!
What awaits you is as many flights of and levels within this tower before facing Morakir himself.
No.
Who knows what awaits you? I do.
Fuck you.
About to be less secure.
That's the goal, right? And we'll see
Yeah, fucking cool.
what fate awaits our heroes after all of this. I am not ready. I'm ready, but I'm not ready. It's gonna be epic, but man, I don't want it to end. You guys are wonderful. Okay.
I'm gonna go throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna debrief from this. Everybody, exclamation point candles, get yourself some Wick and Skull gaming candles.
Oh my
Exclamation
God.
point Hero Forge, get yourself some Hero Forge minis. Exclamation point Squish, get yourself some of Sky's smelly good squishes. And exclamation point IRL, if you are so inclined to help our cause of the main cast meeting and playing the session in real life. And don't forget it's September, so if you're of mind to still do something like this at the end of this episode as we see ourselves out, much appreciated. Love you guys. This journey has been amazing, and there's still more amazement yet to be had. You guys are just wonderful, both audience and players. We're all gonna cry tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. Sorry. Next is gonna feel like tomorrow. No, I want it to feel like tomorrow. Yeah, next session we're all gonna cry. We're all gonna cry tomorrow too, probably. Let's be real. But yeah. Whew, man, these last few episodes are real heckin' emotional, bro. What the hell? This last one is gonna be not a dry eye in the room, I suspect. That's my prediction. Yeah, it could still be tomorrow. You guys just want to play tomorrow? Just get it over with, rip the band-aid off? No, everybody, You're amazing. Stick around. We're going to go show somebody some love with a raid. And we will see you next time, next Sunday, Legends of Aelos, the finale of the Xeyhath campaign in this beautiful cast. All right. See you Sunday. I'll miss you guys. Bye. Stick around. We're going to show somebody some love with a raid.